What's up there, Internet? Troy to the Max Extreme here.
And Web Slinging Dave.
Together?
Did one.
We are Imperious Rex.
So Troy, it's Spidey fever right now.
It's palpable.
That's
I can
right.
taste it. Just yesterday, the newest trailer dropped as we're recording this.
Yes, this will air much later.
Yes, but I'm telling you right now.
The movie might be out by now, actually. But we thought, this might be the perfect time to try to get some more views on our videos and go with something both topical and something that a lot of people have requested that we do, which is the Ultimate Spider-Man series. The Ultimate Universe, always good for a Finn.
That's right.
And a favorite of ours,
yes.
Pretty much through and through.
That's right.
Up until the end part.
Well, yeah.
We'll get there. But Troy, take me back. The year 2000.
Okay. I honestly didn't know that Marvel, was redoing a whole new universe at this point. I was kind of not reading comics quite yet. But
you'd heard of comics.
I've heard of comics. And
Call them the funny pages.
I kind of liked them.
Yeah.
And then, lo and behold, I'm just at a Walmart, and I bestow my eyes on a graphic novel.
Oh, you bestowed them on it.
I bestowed my eyes on Ultimate Spider-Man, and heck, it was volume 1. I could get in from the beginning. And you know what?
What?
That fucking shit works.
So for all those fans that are saying, quit renumbering our shit, you're ruining it, you're bringing in new readers.
Yeah, that's right.
There's new Imperious Rex factions popping up all over the place.
Lousy with them at this point.
That's right. In fact, there's got to be factions to get rid of our factions.
But yeah, I was immediately hooked. I thought the art in it was stellar, and I read it on the way home, and I was like, guys,
I need another taste.
I need to start getting into these comic books. My mom and dad immediately burned all my books. No. That's
to help you, like your real books? To
yeah,
help you on your four-color journey? Well, Troy, we'll just get these out of here.
War and Peace. Yeah, bullshit. But needless to say, this was my large stepping stone into the Ultimate Universe, as well as comic books in general. Of me buying them and purchasing them.
The gateway drug.
It was a gateway drug.
Yeah, I'm right up there with you. I would recount my own story, but it's pretty similar to yours, and we're pressed for time, so we're gonna keep it moving. But this was very influential. The whole Marvel Ultimate Universe was kind of what got me back in, because I think both of us kind of grew up. We knew of all the characters from very low-key pop culture at that time, and the animated series. So I knew like all the Spider-Man and X-Men villains from that show, so it was cool to see them in the Ultimate Universe where I recognized them, but maybe didn't know everything about them, and I was like, oh, I know that guy, and I like this fresh twist they put on him.
Exactly.
It was Shocker with a twist. A shocking twist.
The twist they did with Shocker in this I actually very much enjoy.
Yeah, a lot of them are.
Yeah.
Good additions to their history or their mythos. They build on stuff that the fans already have a prior knowledge of, and new readers, they're not missing anything, but they can just jump right in and get like a whole new character.
That's right.
Or a new twist. No, I've just said that, I'm not going to say it again.
But twisting those purple nurples of the comic book industry was Bendis at the time. He took the reins.
Brian Bendis.
BMB. Took the reins for Ultimate Spider-Man, as well as much of Marvel at that time, afterwards anyway.
Yep.
And came along with superstar artist Mark Bagley, who had previously drawn Spider-Man in the
Who just
90s.
got off like a 20-year tenure on Spider-Man. Here, why don't you go draw a younger Spider-Man for another 10, 11, 12 years.
Mark, we got a job for you. I think you're going to like it. What's that? It's Spider-Man, but you get to draw him with a bowl cut for a little bit. I'm in.
Yes, so the Ultimate Universe took all of these tried and true concepts and characters and put a fresh, modern spin on them.
Yeah.
It also really introduced... Bendis had been doing this for some time, but this is where he really went all in on the decompressed storytelling, where, I mean, you don't just pick up an issue, you pick up a volume, or else you're out of your depth. You don't know what's going on.
Right.
These are long, fold stories, but I think they became more cinematic in
Yeah.
that, and it felt like the stakes were a lot higher because they didn't just have like villains of the week. You got to see a progression of how these famous supervillains came to be, how they were defeated, and they didn't just pop up every other issue. Like it felt like things made an impact.
Yeah. And with the decompressed storytelling too, I really liked the drama that it added between like Peter and everybody around him. Be it Mary Jane, Aunt May, even at the Daily Bugle with J. Jonah Jameson.
Yeah.
I thought that actually really worked. Like, is it decompressed compared to like what came in the 90s? Absolutely. But I felt like it was enough decompression was like, okay, pump the brakes a little bit. Let's get to know them and not just like be slow to be slow and drug out.
Right. So let's talk on Bendis's take on a lot of these famous villains and scenarios. Some of them are fairly close to their original counterparts.
Yeah.
Other ones, he takes wide swings and completely like reinvents them.
Yeah.
For better or for worse in some cases. The very first villain that Spider-Man encounters is Norman Osborn as the Green Goblin.
Yeah.
And it is a very different Green Goblin than we're used to.
Yeah. I actually enjoy the difference between that one and the 616 version. I think it's what's drastically visually different.
Yeah.
But I also like, too, that it also ties in, like, he's making his own super soldier serum.
Yeah.
And the only one that's obviously worked, Steve Rogers or whatever, but all these other ones are these big, huge, hulking abominations, including this one.
And including the Hulk.
And maybe Abomination.
Yeah, I do like the fact that they had so much of the current continuity to choose from. Bendis could take a look at that and pull out all these little things that, like, what if we tied them all together and built everything off that?
Yeah.
Which, the fact that he was, like, the one on the ground floor shaping this entire relaunch was really good, because that way there weren't all these oddball storylines. Everything had a purpose.
Yeah.
And a lot of the Ultimate Universe stemmed from the super soldier serum.
Yes.
Once Captain America was out of the picture, everyone was trying to recreate it, and none of them succeeded.
Right.
Spider-Man, Peter Parker, was probably the best example of something that worked.
Right. And even then, it wasn't directly in him. It had to go through another intermediate to get to him anyway.
Got a bit watered down.
Probably to his benefit.
So Peter isn't the only one to get a youthful...
Peter.
I saw it building and I didn't know what it was going to be. Peter.
Peter.
Wouldn't it be great if in the new Spider-Man movie we got to see all three of their Uncle Bens die?
Just like a split screen. Bang, bang, bang.
Peter.
Peter.
Anyway, as I was saying, Peter isn't the only one, or as some call him, Peter wasn't the only one who got a youthful redesign. Aunt May had some years shaved off her face. She's the hip, cool aunt with that nice, sassy gray cut.
Yep.
Mary Jane is kind of... What would you call Mary Jane in this? She's not the supermodel. They're all in high school, so I mean, come on.
I would
Let's
say...
not sexualize her.
This is going to sound like a dig. She just feels like a palette swap for Peter. She's kind of nerdy. She like wears her fucking nerd overalls.
Thank God she didn't have a ponytail. Throw this book in the nerd trash. I'd give it a swirly.
But that's, I feel like that's how they can connect so well with each other. They're more of the same rather than like, how did he land this chick?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. She's cute, but she
really
some
is
baggage.
the girl next door, though. Where she's like...
Because she's literally next door.
Well, but she's
And
taught
a
it
girl.
in that. In the 616, she's like, she's just the girl next door. That's also a supermodel and all this other shit.
But they change it up right away, because I think it's issue 13. He tells her that he's Spider-Man. And then they've got that bond that took years and probably decades of the comic to get to.
Yeah.
And we just jump right into it because it's a good dynamic. He's got someone kind of looking out for him.
Yeah.
Someone to get thrown off a bridge every chance they get.
Yeah.
But MJ isn't the only potential love interest, because we also get a very revamped Gwen Stacy.
Yes.
Very sassy.
Maybe a little bit goth chic.
Oh my God.
Not so gothy so much.
No, she was a An Avril type.
Like a Levine?
Yeah.
Okay. It
You
makes
telling
sense
me
for the
she's
time
not?
period. It makes sense.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I thought you thought I said an anvil type. And then I was like, I don't know what else. I don't know how else.
An anvil type, you say?
Yes. What'd you think of the new take on Gwen? Because she was always like the perfect sweetheart, you know,
Yeah.
and now she's this kind of punk rock chick.
I
Who'll cut you.
Oh, yeah.
She threatened to cut a couple
Yeah.
people. First day of school.
See, when I got into Spider-Man, I had no idea who Gwen Stacy was, so I've never really ever connected to Gwen Stacy. All I know is that Peter loved her a lot, and she fell off a bridge. He fucked up.
Yep.
And
Done fucked up.
I've always been on the Mary Jane train. So when they introduced a whole new Gwen Stacy in this Ultimate Spider-Man, I was for it.
Yeah.
I was for it.
Mhm.
I liked it.
Yeah, I didn't mind her.
I have.
She had spunk.
She had. Can we not say spunk?
She was fun. Hope
Yeah.
nothing bad happens to her.
Yeah.
A lot of the villains are almost mindless hulking monsters in Ultimate Spider-Man, which I thought was kind of strange.
Oh yeah.
Because as wordy and story-driven as it is, you got your Venom,
Yeah.
your Carnage, your Green Goblin, Hobgoblin. Like, he took all of these kind of cackling villains and just made them big brutes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's Green Goblin and Venom. Who else is like that?
I just said Hobgoblin and Carnage.
I don't even barely remember Hobgoblin.
He's just like a Green Goblin
But
clone.
he's Hobby?
Yeah, it's Harry. Harry.
Oh, yeah. In the Ultimate 6 arc? Is that the one? Or-
No, it's just like a Hobgoblin arc. You ever read these?
I've never read these.
Okay. In this, the crux of Spider-Man getting his powers and everything is through, like, genetic tampering.
Mhm.
That's the buzzword at
Yeah.
this time. And big ol' explosion in Oscorp, because Norman Osborn is contracted to try to recreate the super soldier serum.
Yep.
Peter gets bit by that spider that's been genetically modified.
Yep.
Osborn and Doc Ock get all fucked up there.
Boy, do they.
And then those effects kind of echo through the universe
Mm-hmm.
going forward.
Mm-hmm.
But old Osborn, he's just a big old green Goliath.
Yes, he is. What do you prefer, I guess? I don't want to, like, have to do this with everyone, but this one's the most, I feel like, really drastically different. Him and, like, maybe one or two others.
Yeah. I guess, I mean, gun to my head, gun to my balls.
Uh-huh.
Probably prefer the original recipe,
Yeah.
just because he's a bit more flexible,
Yeah.
maybe.
Yes.
But I do really like the Goblin-esque version of the Ultimate Green Goblin.
Right.
And I've probably read more books with the Ultimate Green Goblin, just because I've read all of this and I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
So, like, I knew who he was going into it, but this was the first, like, real Green Goblin stuff I read.
Also, right next to each other, you actually have, like, a teen Spider-Man who is, like, a teenager versus this brute.
Yeah.
It's not just, like, this old man in a leotard that you... Why don't you just punch the shit out of him?
Right. Yep. Yeah. And that could be said for a lot of characters in this. Doc Ock also gets a bit of an upgrade. He's not a pudgy, lame scientist.
Mhm.
He's still a lame scientist. I mean, you saw that haircut he had.
Oh, boy.
But he's a bit more ripped and he's a bit more lethal. Like,
Mhm.
he is not afraid to just kill a bitch if he has to.
Yeah.
And he makes it very difficult for Spider-Man to just give him like a one-punch knockout.
While we're still on villains here, they do do a different take on Venom in this. It's being created to cure cancer.
By Peter and Eddie Brock's parents.
Yes, by Richard and Eddie Brock Sr.?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did it.
I remembered. But yeah, they are something of a scientist themselves.
Oh my god.
And they create this symbiote, coats your whole body and rids of it of foreign cells to possibly cure cancer.
Yeah.
Doesn't do that as much as just turning into a Venom.
Turns you into a big Venom.
But I do like it that it's just not some random thing from outer space.
Yeah. It was something that made sense in that universe.
Mhm.
And I like that it is monstrous. Like when
Yeah.
Peter finally like confronts it, he's trying to reason with it, and he's trying to get it away from people, and it's just like this shambling creature that he can't even like talk to.
Yeah.
I really like the take on Venom, where he's more monstrous, and he's constantly like tentacly, and he's like the Thing almost.
I was gonna say the exact same thing.
He's just eating people. Like, it's not the anti-hero that we were used to. So it is a good switcheroo on what Venom probably was at that time.
Yeah. I also like the way, design-wise, like, he's got this big gaping toothy maw or whatever, but like he's also got teeth coming out of wherever, and it's just like, he's a mess. Yeah. But I love it.
Yeah. Yeah. And on that note, Carnage is very similar to that too. They mix up the DNA a bit more. They throw some cloning into there, and you end up with this big old wet, messy Peter clone that is essentially Carnage. There's no Cletus Cassidy in this. And this is the one that you mentioned takes a very odd turn. Yeah. Because Carnage ends up killing Gwen Stacy in this universe. Right. Very just out of the blue. And then they move on, and like, I get it was kind of a shock value, almost a Walking Dead effect. Like, anyone can go at any time. Yeah. But it was so weird, it was unsatisfying.
Yeah, it was a misstep. I think one of the missteps in the series was that. But isn't Gwen Stacy that continues on? She's Carnage.
Clone Carnage.
Clone Carnage.
Yeah.
And then
it's such a misstep that they have to take like 5 more missteps to kind of get themselves back on track. And when they're on track, it only works if you ignore everything that put them back on track. It's like this. No,
you'll be reading.
It's just Gwen. Don't worry about it.
Wait a minute. She's a clone Carnage, right? And then you'll like go back in your fucking Rolodex of things that happened in this, and it's like, yeah, but it's...
And they're like, they're not worried about it, why are
you? Exactly.
You want to make something of it? We don't.
We're gonna forget this all happened.
Yeah. Can we talk about Kraven for a minute?
Yes, we can.
Oh man, what a take on Kraven.
What a take.
He's essentially the Steve Irwin, R.I.P., of the Ultimate Universe. Yeah. Makes a big show about he's going to go down to New York, he's going to hunt down Spidey.
Right. He's like Dog the Bounty Hunter, more or less.
Yeah. Talks a big game.
Yep.
Ends up coming face to face. Spidey knocks him out with one punch. Almost takes his head off.
You're right.
And throughout the entire book, he's just trying to like make up for that big embarrassment. Yep. And always gets his ass kicked in like one punch throughout the whole thing.
So I like Kraven the Hunter a lot, actually. He's one of my favorite Spidey villains.
You should get you some Kraven pants.
Oh my god, can you imagine a lion vest? But I also do like the take in this a lot. Even though they are different in each universe, I like each one separately, probably equally.
I feel like there's a lot of variety in the Ultimate Spider-Man villains, where like some of them are really formidable, other ones not so much.
Right.
But then one's like the Shocker, who's constantly getting his ass kicked. Yeah. But as the book goes on, he ends up almost doing Peter in. Through like just sheer happenstance. He gets one over on him and almost kills him.
Yeah. I do like that he is a running joke because it's like, Shocker, are you actually electric? No, I'm vibrational. Fuck off.
My wife's got something that's vibrational. So one thing that was really cool about the Ultimate Universe was they didn't overload you with like crossovers. There's I think 4 main titles going at any given time. Yeah. And they stayed pretty much in their Ultimate Spider-Man, X-Men, Ultimates, and Fantastic Four. Yeah. So when they actually did a crossover, it was a pretty big deal. Yeah. One of the, wasn't the first, but one of the first major crossovers was Ultimate 6, which was the Ultimate version of the Sinister Six, and it pulled in everybody, because this was a big deal. Yeah. This wasn't just a bunch of supervillains robbing banks. This was like an all-out assault on the White House. They had to pull in, like, the Ultimates and everybody to make, like, essentially a war on the White House lawn.
Yeah, yeah. And it happened, I guess, it's collected in the Spider-Man books.
It was just its own thing.
But it was his own thing, yeah.
Own thing.
It was his own thing. If you're reading this chronologically through, this is when the arc breaks from Bagley to Trevor Hairsine.
Yeah, this is my first exposure to Hairsine, I think.
I think it might have been mine as well. I really enjoy that arc quite a bit, because I think that was the first time you realized, like, Kraven had enough and he gave himself superpowers, and so he could become like almost like feral or whatever.
Yeah.
Still a bit of a joke though.
Oh, just immediately gets zapped by Thor and he's out of the game.
Like Hawkeye is in the beginning of it or whatever, and Kraven's running off. He's like, I don't even want to waste the arrow on this guy. You just see him like, all right, fine. Panel, and then it's him dropping.
Yeah. This also has a great sequence where Doc Ock breaks out of Rikers or wherever they're at, the vault, who knows.
Yeah.
He discovers that he is actually able to telepathically control the arms even if he's not attached to them.
Yeah.
And he's like given this soliloquy while all these experts are kind of examining him and all this stuff. And all of a sudden it does this smash cut to the arms spread out. Each one is impaling one of the scientists, and one of them was Giant Man.
Yeah.
Hank Pym. And I was like, shit, is Hank dead? Should have been. He wasn't. He sticks around for a while and does nothing and then dies in Ultimatum. But, like, whoa, that was a pretty cool reveal there.
Yeah.
And then he proceeds to break out Osborn, Electro, Kraven, Sandman. Maybe that's it? Yeah, those 5.
Yeah.
And they go on the run. And the whole thing, you're like, who's going to be the 6th?
Yeah.
Who's number 6?
Yeah.
And you find out, like, they want Peter to be the 6th. They're like, Peter, we're essentially blackmailing you so you help us storm the White House.
Yeah.
So Peter is a member of the Sinister Six. Kind of. Not really. But it was kind of a cool...
asterisk.
Yeah. Yeah. And then they have this big old battle with the Ultimates. And it was, it felt epic.
It did.
Yeah.
It was a big, epic event.
Mm-hmm.
And I always, for whatever reason, I always remember this one panel near the end where he's fighting Green Goblin or whatever, and he's like half transformed. He's got this big one fucking arm. I'm like, what the fuck is
They
that?
hit him with something that, like, just fucks up his genetic code, and he turns into, like, essentially Deacon Frost at the end of Blade. He just bubbles and boils. And this all happens in front of Harry Osborn, Osborn's son, and he sees all this, and he's like, I'm gonna fucking get you, Peter.
Yeah, you better believe I'm gonna fucking get you.
Oh, man, I'm gonna enjoy this big old bite of pie.
So good. Peter.
What I do like in this, too, is they have a lot of, well, I guess an equal amount of, like, street crime going on.
Yeah.
Because Kingpin's, a big deal in this book. Because there's a huge ongoing storyline that Peter has him on video murdering somebody.
Yeah.
And he's gonna frame him, but he can't because he's Spider-Man. He can't let his identity. That whole Spider-Man trope, you know.
Oh my God, Parker Luck.
Yeah, and you got like the Kingpin's goons with like Fancy Dan and all those.
Fancy Dan, the enforcers.
Yeah.
God, do we need to make a Fancy Dan fan club?
Yes.
All right, I'll get on it. I'll get the business manager on it. She'll move some money around. We'll get fancy.
Everyone gets a hat.
Everyone gets a hat. Is he the one with the hat?
I thought so.
Is he the last
Pretty
guy?
fancy. Yeah.
Who's the other one? There's Ox, Fancy Dan, and
The other
Montana.
one. Is Montana? The one with
Montana would have the hat.
But
Are there 2 hats?
Time will tell.
All right.
Maybe he's Fancy Gangster Dan.
Ooh. We're gonna pump the brakes on the Fancy Dan fan club. We're gonna get our facts
Get to
straight.
the bottom of this.
Yes. Stay tuned. More updates as this unravels. But they also pull in like Electro. He becomes he's working for the Kingpin, and then as it goes on, he gets Elektra under his wing too.
Yeah.
So he's got a myriad of assassins.
That's right.
And there's actually a really great ongoing story where all these other like street level vigilantes come in to take him down.
Yeah.
So we get like Daredevil, Moon Knight, Iron Fist, Shang-Chi, like all these, Black Cat too.
Yep.
Those were some of my favorite arcs in this, strangely enough. And it's just like street crime, but I really enjoy what he does with that. He brings the Ronin character in too.
Yeah.
So
he was hard for that Ronin character.
Oh my God, he was fucking gaga over Ronin. Yeah, Ultimate Spider-Man was probably the ultimate book that reintroduced the most characters.
Oh yeah.
Out of everything in the Ultimate Universe at that time.
Yeah.
It went the longest, obviously.
Yeah.
But they just brought in everybody.
Yes.
I think even Omega Red makes an appearance in this.
Really? Him?
Yeah.
Out of everyone.
Yeah. Yep. And then there's also this kind of ongoing mutant paranoia, too, where Spider-Man is constantly thought to be a mutant.
Yeah.
So he like identifies with the X-Men, and they end up making a lot of cameos in this too.
Yep.
So much that he actually starts dating Kitty Pryde.
Yep.
And they have like a really good relationship throughout it.
I actually really like that chunk of the book where he's dating Kitty Pryde.
Yeah. I think there's even one where they like go to Mojoverse or something, and they have to fight Arcade.
Yeah, Is that the one where they meet Deadpool?
Oh yeah, it's Deadpool.
I did not like that Deadpool.
Okay.
Like, I am not a huge fan of Deadpool in general, but I did not like this version of Deadpool.
I liked his look. I liked the costume.
I didn't feel it was different enough.
He had some pirate boots.
Not a fan of the pirate boots.
I wasn't either. I just didn't know what else to say. Everything else looked about the same.
No, hold on. Can we talk about pirate boots for 1 minute? There's a lot of proponents out there for people, superheroes in general, for the pirate boot look. Captain America had the pirate boot look.
Yeah.
A lot of pirate boot looks out there. I named one.
Hawkeye had some.
Hawkeye had big pirate boots.
Oh my god. Are you making a stand?
I'm making a stand right now.
All right.
Anti-pirate boot.
My god. You heard it here.
I like a good lace-up boot, okay? Can I just say? Lace-up boots all the way.
You want to just pull those strings, hear that sound of the leather?
Just like scrunching together, try and cinch it up real tight. That means you're ready for business.
Everyone's got their kinks.
Not putting on some floppy pirate boots. Get the fuck out of here, you buccaneer-looking ass. Okay.
How'd we get here?
I don't remember. The one downside I would say is, like, once they got, like, established, they hit all the Spider-Man beats.
Pretty
from
much.
the last, like, 60 years.
Yeah.
And they crammed it into 10. And then you find out later on that he's only Spider-Man for a year.
That
What
blows
the
my mind.
fuck?
No.
Come on. You can't just have it last for 5?
Yeah.
Like, you've been writing it for 10. Make it 5 years. Nobody cares, but a year I care. That's too much.
Yeah.
There's 111 issues of this. That's a
there's way more than that. There's 150.
Oh, that's right. 111 consecutive between Bagley and Bendis. But 150. So that's like more than a third of a year. So you're only cutting out like every 3 days and putting it into a comic book.
Yeah.
And this is his year.
Yep.
Get the fuck out of here.
Spider year.
That's a lot to happen to a kid.
It is. Golly. God bless Peter.
God bless
Putting
him.
up with that.
I do feel like the book ends very well because you don't... Peter gets out of a lot of scrapes in every single universe there is. But he... With a caveat, hold on. He does die at the end of this series, and I thought it was very well handled until it wasn't.
Right? Okay. But you know what, Troy? I'm going to stop you right there because, you know, I've checked my watch and it turns out we've reached our allotted Spider-Man talking amount today.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I was having so much fun.
I was too, but you know what? Everything has to come to an end. But there's a lot we can unpack on this.
Yes.
So I think we're gonna gather our bearings. We're gonna gear up for the end of the year.
Okay.
And then maybe we'll revisit Ultimate Spider-Man. Because I hear there's this new up-and-comer, real go-getter. Miles, they call him.
Oh, really?
And apparently he plays a big role.
Does he now?
In the Spider-Man series.
Boy, I can't wait to know what that is about.
Me too! But until then, yeah, that was a look at the first half of Ultimate Spider-Man, I would say.
Yeah.
All by Bendis, all by Bagley.
Mm-hmm.
We should just say real quick here, right before the tail end, they did 111 consecutive issues, breaking the streak of Stan Lee and Jack Kirby on their Fantastic Four run. Yeah. So, wow.
Big deal.
Big deal.
Big deal.
What do you think of Bagley's artwork now?
Listen.
Well, until next time, I've been Ghost Hunter Dave.
And I've been Troy to the Max Extreme.
And we've been Imperius Rex.
We'll see you next time. Bye-bye. feel like a burp coming on. Hold on.
Got it. Web that burp. Stick it right back in your guts.
Don't do that, Stones.
Stones.
All right, enough fucking around.
Yep.